Right then, away from the old best awards, let's talk about the Premier League. Of course, it was an interesting weekend, given that some teams were on a break, others, of course, making the most of those teams not playing, especially at Manchester City, closing the gap to 2 points now on Liverpool at the top of the table, coming from behind, of course, to beat Newcastle by 3-2. Craig, you weren't with us on Saturday. I know you talked about it briefly on Extra Time yesterday, but overall, this was so good for so many different reasons.
I was listening to you boys talking about it, and Stevie said they just knocked it about with just such quality. And yeah, there was moments that they got caught out, and Newcastle scored 2 great goals. Actually, the 5 goals were just tremendous.
Yeah.
But the way that they played, as a general rule of thumb, the way they passed it and they moved, and Newcastle came out like quick with that home crowd behind them, and then City just went, hey, we're the boss. And it was quite something to watch. And that was before even De Bruyne and Oscar Bob comes on. But, you know, I'm just adamant that for all these storylines, for all these superstars, Haaland not there, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Rodri, amazing.
Why? What is it that he does that makes him so important?
He just links the whole package together.
Rodri is in the same planet when it comes to having the ball at your feet in the middle of the park. He sees where he knows where everybody is. He knows exactly where he needs to put the ball, and then he delivers it with the right pace on the right foot. But the overriding thing is it makes it look so easy.
Right.
So easy.
But if I'm Ederson or I'm a Kanji who didn't play, but you know, Diaz, Guardiola, if I'm any of those players and I'm up the creek without a paddle in my own box, he shows for you all the time. Right. He never hides. Never. And he doesn't always have a great game. Sometimes he makes mistakes. But he's perfect for this team because he's always there. And sometimes the little 5 and 10 yard passes, the simple ones, are the ones that get City out of that hole. And Liverpool do it as well to an extent. McAllister comes in there. Before that, it was Fabinho. But I think in the last 24 months, nobody in England does it better than this guy. Douglas Luiz is doing it a little bit for Villa, but he doesn't do it as well as Rodri. And I think when he comes back and they play the ball into him, when he's got a man up his back and then he lays it off to your full-back, and then before you know it, it's simple at times what he does, but he's the best at it. And without him, all these other facets, right? Oh, De Bruyne is back, great player. Haaland will be back. Bernardo Silva. Somebody has to win the ball, somebody has to pass the ball, and somebody has to link it up. That's the man.
Yeah. See, sitting watching it on the TV, we can see things way better or way easier than you can when you're on the field.
Yeah.
It's so much harder. And the amount of times that people give him the ball with 2 and 3 players around him, and you're sitting there, and I'm sitting at the weekend, I'm going, well, what's he going to do now?
Right.
And I haven't seen it, and I've got a bird's eye view. But he first time puts 3 people out of the game, and all of a sudden City are going forward again.
Yeah, but he's also the perfect example of what Pep wants, right? Because when Pep plays the game, and as a coach, he always says, like, if I have players in my team that don't want the ball, I have a problem. Because 1, I won't play you, and 2 is that then you don't play to win the game. And he is the perfect example of that. He's always giving you the option, regardless of who is around him. And also the size. Normally the familiarity of the players that play his position are normally shorter. You know, they're faster on their feet, but he's in a bigger size and capable to do the same job. He's physically good, he can win headers, he can win the ball, but then he can also make sure that he moves the game forward. And I think that is very important when you play that position, because sometimes people go safe. He does not play safe. You know, when I talk about safe, I used to call them players like playing like a crab. You know, you go left, you go right, you never go forward. The only thing you can do is going backwards. And he is always trying to go forward. And that's why I liked him. That's why I highlighted him when I saw him in that list before we talked about. I said Rodri is not part of it.
He's not bothered about his passing stats. I mean,
right.
I'm sure there's an essence of don't want to give the ball away, but he takes so many chances. Don't forget he played centre-half for Spain at one of the major championships. And also, think about the player that was there before him, Fernandinho. Now, somebody had to replace him eventually. And he did such an amazing job at getting around the field. But he didn't have the passing stats that, or the passing ability that Rodri has. Just didn't have that.
What has epitomised City and their success over recent years, Mario, is these runs that they've put together just at the right time when it looks like, you know, the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool in the past could catch them. They put on these sort of 14, 15 games, unbeaten runs, which inevitably leads them to the title. Do you think we're starting to see them put together one of these runs now this year?
The scary part is like some of the key players are coming back, right? Okay, we saw De Bruyne coming back, regardless if he's not physically fit yet, because look, coming on in the game, he highlighted it himself. He said, look, if I got to play like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, I might have it in my body. But the 90 minutes, we all know the Premier League, you need about, 3 to 4 games to be up to your speed. And then, you know, Haaland is maybe going to take a little bit longer for them. But you could see, like, even in the game against Newcastle, crossing the ball from the side was very difficult for them because they didn't have a proper striker. Like Alvarez is not the striker that you're going to deliver the ball in the air and make him attack that ball. He has other qualities and, like, you know, the runs, and when Newcastle was sitting so deep. So breaking the line open, I was really impressed with the way they were playing, and I could see that they don't have everybody yet. But if you manage to play against a Newcastle side that plays 4-5-1, because don't forget, Gordon and Almiron, they were playing midfield and try to hit them on the break. And they still managed to get through that. That shows you what kind of capability Cities is about. And that's why when you highlight that, I think they can do it. I don't think I'm saying anything that they can go on a run and make them like unstoppable like what they used to. And saying like, 15 games, they go, 14 games unbeaten and they drew one. Those kind of numbers are not a surprise to us. But the only thing is that every season, to do that again, Pep said it, we won so much, and make them do it again, it's going to take some pushing, but they can definitely do it.
They might not have to go on a run. Well, they might not have to go on an amazing run because Liverpool would have to do something similar, although they've got a lead. And Arsenal, I mean, at the moment, you wouldn't suggest that they're going to put, 7 or 8 wins on the bounce. So they might not have to put one of those runs that I think they did last year or the year before. I think it was 12 in a row.
Yeah.
When they were looking, some people were trying to write them off around Christmas, and they came back and just slammed the hammer down. But they might not have to. It depends on what the others do. And it looks like Liverpool at the moment are the team that are going to be the team to beat. Maybe Arsenal will get the finger out. Who knows? The
worrying thing for everybody else is that there's no question, certainly in my mind, that was the best performance of City all season. Mm-hmm. Now, when's the best time to kick into gear? End of January?
Yeah.
And you saw the stats. 2 of those last 4 are from February to May, with 14 wins out of 15, both times. I mean, you win that wins you the championship, and it did win them the championship. So that would be the worrying thing. I think I said about 3 weeks ago, I don't think they're going to put a run like that together, because there was no sign that they were going to knock the ball around the way they did at the weekend. Without De Bruyne and without Haaland, nobody saw that coming. The fact is now they've got De Bruyne and they're going to get Haaland. They're certainly not going to be worse. They can only be better. How frightening is that?
Mario, a word on the winning goal. As a defender, how do you stop that? The pass is inch perfect, isn't it, from De Bruyne? And then the skill from Oscar Bob beyond his age.
I wanted to score at home, but I now get the opportunity to score at Newcastle. It's not a bad place. That stadium, to get that stadium going, if you do stuff like that, was really amazing to see. But if you saw the first 2 goals that they scored, they went on the inside, on their strong right foot on Walker. Walker, for me, is one of the key right backs, but he allowed players to go inside. He probably must have been so angry because Gordon did it to him and Isak did it to him. If you look at the first 2 goals, they're right-feeted and he let them come in the field instead of pushing them outside. And when the 2 goals came, oh my God, I was like looking at it, I was like, oh, this could not happen. And if you saw the assists of Guimaraes, they were clearly set up just to use the speed of the 3 boys up front, Newcastle. And after they got hurt, when they got the equalizer, they had no answer, didn't know what to do anymore. And I think that's what City came and really showed the difference.
It was a little unlike Walker, wasn't it, on that? Not so much the letting him come inside, it was the way he sauntered back.
To begin with.
To begin with,
Weird,
he kind of ambled back as if there was no threat. That's not like him. He normally busts a gut to get back in position and then hard. It was like he was playing in a training game. But anyway,
just a word on Oscar Bob, Craig.
Oh, well, he's been hovering around for.
Yeah. Now we've seen some good cameos from him, haven't he? Coming off the bench already.
Oscar Bobby loves him. He
can't go over the name.
It's the name. He's looked a player coming off the bench. That is going to do him the world of good with the confidence. But the first touch is good. I mean, you got to feel for Trippier. He's had some few weeks. I mean, there's not a lot he does wrong, but it's him that gets caught out. The first touch is hard, but then when he took the touch, you're thinking, right, where's he going? Keeper's going to smother it. Where's he going? And the quick feet and how he shuffled it, I mean, just brilliant. Another Norwegian to add to the list.
I know. I saw your tweet, wasn't it? You just want to need eight more players with Haaland and Odegaard.
Fantastic, but Haaland, Odegaard, Oscar, all these young players coming through for the. But yeah, he's another one that they can ride. And that's the other thing with City. Everybody said it's money, money, money. It's big players, big players. If you look at the list, Cole Palmer's come through, he's gone. Phil Foden came through, Rico Lewis came through. Oscar Bobb's an opportunity. They're not the only club that does it, but if they're good enough, you're getting a chance.
A word on Newcastle, out the top 4 race?
Well, I think you'd have to say, if Tottenham got all the players fit, they look in better shape.
They're 11 points off Champions League.
Yeah. I don't think they're getting top 4. I don't.
Stephen, you've been very optimistic about Newcastle.
Yeah, I didn't see them losing 4 in the trot though. Although the way they played at the weekend, I think they were unlucky. They just played against a team that I don't care who they were playing against, we're going to win the game. I mean, they were just that good, City.
Yeah.
So I think top 4 is probably going to be out of reach. I think they'll get in Europe though.
Right.
You know, Shaka said it the other day. They've got the next 12 games. They've only got 2 recognisable teams as opposition. One's Arsenal, can't remember the other one, but the rest are games that you think they'll win. And you've got to think they're going to get some of these players back eventually. So, yeah, I think they can still get into Europe. I just don't think it's the top 4.